crew.
We got another crew.
The switcheroo crew.
Shift number 2.
We're in shift number 2. We tell you this is Four Sisters Live. And we keeping it live no matter what. We are happy.
We stay happy.
We got to stay happy. We got to smile through it all.
Right.
No matter what it is, we still have to smile. How do you do that?
It's a
Nobody.
choice.
It's a
It's
choice.
a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go through and introduce each other, starting with one of our members, our new member.
Hi.
Hi,
It's
Jennifer.
great to be with you all today. You know I come with liveliness and
we
energy.
love
Yes.
So my name is Jennifer Bryant, and I'm the owner of Reaching Within an Empowerment Journey.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Good.
And
I'm Robin Rogers of R&R Enterprise and Robin R Empowers.
Robin, I just love your hair, girl.
Thank you.
It is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And this is my baby
lovely.
girl.
Yes. I am Nina Patterson, and I am the Executive Director of Sources of Power and a lifetime partner with Sisters for Sisters Network.
So we got sisterhood.
Yes.
I'm trying to come down from the first show.
I know.
It's been amazing. We have
We
had
have
an awesome
some
time.
fun.
It was.
Yeah.
It was pretty-
Did you enjoyed it?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did, yes.
Wow. I
Oh,
think
my
this is
God.
our 15th episode.
Is
Oh,
it?
wow.
I think so.
Congratulations.
I think it is. So,
Wow.
we're kind of moving along here, and it's like, how long y'all been doing it? Not long. Really? It seems like y'all been around a while. But God is just good because we got good people, good energy.
good
It just
energy
seems
to come
like it
into
all
the room.
comes together.
Yeah.
So, Peggy.
That's what Sisters for Sisters Network does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We attract positive people
Yeah,
with
we
positive
do.
energy, and we all just kind of work together. That's
We
what
all
I've
gel
seen.
together.
We
It's
all
all
gel
connected.
together.
They say you meet no strangers when you are about doing good work.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
You know? And we just blend.
Yes.
I don't have to know you to love you.
That's
Right.
right.
I don't
That's
No,
right.
although I do know you. I know this lady, but
You don't know who's in the room,
point is,
right?
You don't know who's in the room, and you always have to carry yourself in a manner because Peggy always say, first impression.
It's the best.
It's
That's
the
it.
last thing.
You must get it the first time.
I'm
Get it
telling
right
you.
the first time
That's right.
because that's going to make it break it. That's a deal breaker almost.
Yes,
You know.
exactly.
That's right.
So
And you know what? And the thing that is so phenomenal to me is that I didn't really understand that there was real sister love.
This is so true.
You know, because you see people on the street, they look at you, they don't speak or whatever, and it wasn't until this organization that I understood that there is real sister love. And when you say that there's something you need and you want to get together, oh, everybody piles together and get together and they
That's
make
a
it
good
happen.
thing.
Make it
A lot of
happen.
times
Make it
that's not
happen.
always that's not always the case in some situations. When it comes to women, because we always have the stigma that women don't get along.
Right.
They can't do this
It's not
together.
That's right.
They don't do this together.
It's not
They're walking around with all kind of attitudes. They divas. You know.
That's the foundation that I had where no one ever got along.
Put your microphone in my face.
Where no one ever got along. It wasn't until getting into certain circles that I realized sisterhood is real.
Yes, it is. real.
Exactly.
And part of that is taking off those masks, and I talk about that a
Yeah.
lot. You gotta show up as your true self and be vulnerable and be willing to be transparent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when
You don't know
others
who you
see
are.
yeah, and when
Yeah.
others see you transparent, then they say, okay, it's not so bad.
It's not so
Right.
bad.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
people want to, at this point in time, want to deal with people who are real and who can open up and help them because when you're like that, then you draw in the
Exactly.
energy of people
Exactly.
who need that.
That's right.
Otherwise, you can't, people can't, they don't know who you are. They don't know what
Correct.
to do. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to act. And that's not a good space to be in.
Exactly.
And so I think now, I think we're coming into that. And because the Sisters for Sisters network bring a lot of that, Peggy.
Yeah.
You have opened this
I'm
up
just so
because
blessed.
you don't, she said, I don't deal with no mess.
I don't.
Okay.
She's not dealing with no foolishness.
Number one, I'm too old. I don't have the patience like I used to. Okay. And it's all about us thinking alike and supporting each other. Life is too short, my sisters.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Shorter.
It's too short. And we need to take care of each other. First, you got to take care of yourself.
That's right.
Okay. Then we go out and we take care of others. But, this journey has been amazing. And, and Nina can tell you, we go way back. When Nina and I connected, it was just instant bond.
It was.
It was an instant bond. You know how you know that certain people are going to be in your life no matter what? That's what we have in our sisterhood. These women, when we get together, they don't even want to go home.
They don't.
I mean, we actually have a wonderful time. And so that mentality of black women, especially us, can't get along and can't support each other is a no-no. Okay? Because we have a true example right here in this organization.
That's right.
And I know, I just want to add in there, for those that are listening, if you're, women who are looking to aspire to have a business, or this is a great organization. When I first started, I had no idea what it was that I was going to do. Peggy said, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm looking to have my own business. Very rookie, okay? And she said, well, why don't you come to the networking meeting? And from that very day, what was that, 2005, I joined the networking meeting. It's been that long. Joined the networking meeting to now have my own nonprofit organization called Sources of Power through the connections of Sister for Sisters Network.
And Peggy put this organization together to, it's just like she's like the mother and we are the children to her.
No, wait a minute, you my sister now. Sister daughter.
This daughter. That's the daughter, because she adopts everybody. You say, okay, that's the mother. She's the big sister.
She's the big sister.
She's the big sister. But at heart, because she has that motherly wit about her that she just loves, and she brings everyone into the fold. But she wanted to have these areas that cover domestic violence and health and wellness and education and entrepreneurship. She wanted to cover as much as she could because she knows a lot of women are doing these things, literally are in the business. And so when you come into Sisters for Sisters Network, you're going to dearly do that. You're going to network.
That's right.
You're going to connect with sisters that are doing either some of the same things you're doing, similar or not, but you can come together and help one another.
That's it.
And embrace and just encourage each other. And it's Christian based. We love God and God loves us. Amen. So we are here to do that. And so, Peggy, I appreciate you for bringing
it
this
is
together.
so funny, and I applaud y'all guys because I can't do this alone. I grew up with 5 sisters. That's where all this come from. We don't know where God is leading us. When we're young and we're growing up, I didn't know He was building leadership in me because being the oldest of 5 sisters, I was in charge. Okay. And they did what I told them to do. No.
This stemmed from all of the 5 sisters.
Yeah, my 5 sisters. And today, that's the way, and my father said, no matter what, you stick together. And that's the way we operate. And today, we're in our 50s and 60s. Did I say 60? Yeah. Okay. And we still operate the same way.
And when she says go, they go.
If I say show up,
they show up.
Sometimes.
Well, speaking of one of the segments that I just mentioned in domestic violence, and Nina, we have she's broken us down into chair and co-chairs of these different organization parts of that she's doing. And Nina is the chairperson of the Domestic Violence Committee. I am a chair of the Domestic Violence Committee, and we have co-chairs as well. But Nina, I know that this is near and dear to your heart. Yes. Domestic violence, and I said earlier, this month is Sexual Assault Month as well. And people would say, well, what's the difference? There is a difference, but either one is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And I wanted you to segue into what's happening and where you are with this issue, because we have to become in a position to talk about it. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to deal with it. But we have to deal with it. We have to talk about it. As of right now, and I want to say this quickly, I think I've been a little off kilter today with my spirit, feeling like I'm disconnected, but I am connected. But I was hurt. My heart hurts for the couple that murder-suicide that happened yesterday. I believe
I heard about that. Yeah.
And it just continues.
It continues.
Yes.
And it really hurts me to hear that this gentleman shoots his wife, Then he turns the gun on himself, and their 20 or 21-year-old son find them both, his parents, in the home. That hurts. That hurt me when I heard that.
Yes.
You know what I
Very
mean?
traumatic.
It really affected me. And I said, God, you know, I prayed for them. I prayed for the little boy immediately. I really did.
Yeah.
And I saw the people on the news, and I saw the people, and they were just devastated. So I'm like,
know.
wow, did you see it?
I saw
was
it
like,
in the
they was
news.
like, wow, this happening out there. Beautiful home.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw it.
Beautiful home. He worked at this park service.
Park service, yeah.
He carried a gun. It was legal.
Mm-hmm.
And the son said he heard them arguing, but then he heard the shots. And that is just terrifying. And this is the moment that we're talking about, this domestic. But thank you, Peggy, for because there are people don't like to talk about it.
Correct.
They don't even like to deal with it. So I thank you.
You know, I grew up in a household of dealing with domestic violence. I know what it's like. And I was, I was the leader, okay, because I had 5 sisters. When we had to go, we ran together, okay? And my father
That means
was
Randy had to escape and leave?
yeah, the house.
Wow.
We had to leave the house. My father was a awesome man. I mean, loving his family. But, you know, we have to understand the root.
Correct.
What the behavior, why he did the things
Yes,
he did.
definitely.
And to my mother, who, it just blows my mind, would give you any and everything. And for him to do this to my mom took a lot out of me.
Right.
And I swore that I would never, ever sit myself in that situation because I got a couple of blows.
Right.
Okay, when my mother and father was in it, I was trying to protect my mom. So I'd rather take the blow before she got it. So I protected her. And so I know what that feeling's like. I know what it's like when we didn't have a shelter. We didn't have anywhere to go to. If we had a shelter, it was the police department. And if you were in there by 2, you were out there by 6 in the morning. You had to go. Because they didn't understand it. They didn't know how to deal with domestic violence.
Yes.
And guys, this is, I'm talking about in the 60s, 70s. They didn't have the resources. And even today hasn't even gotten that better.
Well, the thing about today is that it's escalated.
Yeah,
So, you know, back
in those days, nobody,
right,
it was
and even
behind closed doors.
Right, and even from behind closed doors to my generation was, it was normal to say hit a woman or to curse at her or call her names and stuff. But now it's escalated to the point where it's moving into the sexual is very open now, okay? Sexual assault, guns. Guns are being used more so now, you know, so I mean, it's escalated. And the thing about it is, you know, we talk about it and there are the organizations that are out there. But the thing is, what is it that we're going to do about it? Because just like the situation with the couple yesterday. And then we've got stuff that is coming on month after month after month.
And then it's going into the schools.
It's going into the school. So it's reaching a younger generation. And I'm just going to speak biblically here for a minute. You know, what I see is a generational curse and also dealing with the enemy trying to target our young people, okay? Being able to escalate this and ruin the minds of our younger generation, okay? And so if you got a young man that's 21 years old who went through what he went through, that has definitely got to deal with him in a mental capacity.
Yeah,
So
I would say that and you hit on a point too, that statistically 18 to 34-year-olds, they are the age group who are likely to enter into a domestic violence situation.
Yes.
And the stats will tell you that a person, 20 people are being abused every minute. Every minute. So the stats are alarming. We are change agents. And as a member of the domestic violence committee, it is important that we reach our younger generation to help break that cycle. In fact, I brought my younger daughter here. She's out there looking at us on the monitor. And and letting them know that there are resources. What are the red flags?
Yes.
What are the signs? We may think as we are dating when we're 18 or whatever that it's cute that someone is so possessive of you and wants you all to themselves. You know, that is a bad sign.
Yes,
it is.
That is a bad sign.
Yeah, it's a bad sign, and we're going to deal with those red flags. I want to talk about a couple of those red flags. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back so we can talk about that. Okay. Okay. We'll be right back.
I love it.
Always sisters, always friends. Let's stay real close till the end. Forgiving each other, letting love come. Always sisters, always friends. We have to live in harmony, even though we may disagree. 'Cause fighting each other is not the answer. Sharing the grace, let's be enriched with peace and love. Letting compassion from above. Never forsaking, just understanding. Ain't that what families are made of? No matter what may come or go, we stay together and it shows. This bond between us, foundation is trust. That's what you family's all about, yeah. Always sisters, always friends. Let's stay real close, till the end. Real close, giving each other, letting love come. Always sisters, always friends. Really gotta learn.
We are back. We're back, and you know we live here. We are a live bunch, but right now, because of the subject matter that we are talking about, it becomes something that we have to embrace, and it's something dear to our heart. It's very serious. We are out here to help change lives. This is what this platform is about, to talk about the issue, but at the same time, we want to change lives through this conversation. No one should be abused. No woman. I know men, you have your thing, but right now, just put yourself aside for a moment. No woman should be abused, hit, kicked, slapped, and ultimately shot and killed, or killed,
Or talk down to.
or talked down to.
Yeah.
What is going on here? What is happening? Because you can believe when it happened, like when it just happened, that wasn't the first time. It led to that.
It led to that.
It did.
It just led to the ultimate demise of that situation. What do? We were just talking about that. The courts may ignore you.
Right.
You go try to get help. You try to get protection. No one is there to listen to you. So you have to go home and live and hope
life.
and pray you wake up the next day, whatever the case may be in your home. But you have to go home and live through this demonic situation. I call it a demon.
That's what it is.
That's right.
That's exactly what it is.
This is demonic. And anytime a woman has to be afraid, you're in fear, you're living in fear, and you have children who are living in fear, that is the issue at hand here. How do we get out? Because one thing could beget something else. Your children see it, then they get older, and it grows and it grows and grows. Where do we stop this situation? Now, the sexual assault, and I heard about this, that the unanimously of the House and the Senate, they talked about, they ruled on the sexual assault piece for the Montgomery County or Prince George's County I don't know if you all heard about that, but they had, they voted unanimously on this sexual, and they moved on this now that you can go into the courts and you can deal with this. I think they have up until this Monday to come up with how they're going to really deal with this situation. Yes, they've been out fighting on the forefront about this sexual assault as well as domestic violence. But the thing of it is, I say all this to say we got to get their ear.
Yes, that's right.
You got to get their ear.
Collectively.
You got to go and you got to fight for this. So, Robin, I know you've been in the forefront and you've had some things, and I see that you've been helping women that have dealt with this issue, going through this issue, and you've been helping as well, and you've been dealing on the sexual assault side. Give us some information on that.
Well, I'd like to give you some background. First of all, thank you so much.
No, thank you for your patience.
Thank you for bringing me here,
Okay.
Miss Morris. This
You better
lady
not.
here.
You better not.
Miss Morris.
You better not.
Miss Morris, I can't say Miss
You
Morris.
better call me Peg.
Ma Peggy.
Okay.
Okay.
But she
Peggy
just over.
has been.
Sister Peg.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for
thank
inviting
you.
me here. We'll talk a little bit more about how we met. But to get to the subject matter of the sexual assault, some background. It started with me at the age of 5 years old. From 5 till about 9, this was a grandfather, someone that you trust, and someone that I was exposed to every summer. So from that point, once he was no longer having access to me because I stopped it, it was like, I'm tired of it. I threatened to tell. And at that point, it stopped. We had a home fire and relocated to some other relatives. We were split up. One of the relatives that I ended up moving with, it happened again.
Oh, wow.
So now I think I'm 11 or 12, and this cycle was repetitive. And again, I was silenced. Why? I witnessed domestic violence. I'm a little emotional, but I'm
No,
okay.
we're there.
So I witnessed the domestic violence piece in my home, but it wasn't consistent. Sometimes we would walk in and we would see this. And my mom never said anything. So I kept quiet. When the sexual assault happened, I kept quiet. It wasn't until I think I was 17, I left home and moved with someone else, a close friend of the family. By now, I'm a teenage mom. So at this point, staying with this person who was a family friend, I was just like, oh, wow, I have this freedom. No one could take advantage of me. So I was pretty much out of control, but in control, if you will.
Yeah.
Out of control to the point where now if I want to date, I have options as to who I want to be with. So in control where no one is allowed to touch my body. Moving forward, I get married. I think I got married at the age of 20, and I'm still young. In this particular situation, there was a lot of emotional abuse. And the emotional abuse piece came from the verbal abuse of watching in my home, the sexual assault.
That's right.
And all of this was like, okay, what's going on here? So now I'm partying, I'm going out, but I'm still unfulfilled. And in the unfulfillment, I'm trying to find my own identity. And so other things took place where drugs became a part of my identity. People pleasing became a part of that identity. I want to say towards the end of my marriage, I was married at that point for 21 years. My husband decided to walk out. So now I'm with 2 teenage kids. And during that time, I'm realizing I have a teenage daughter, that I didn't want to experience the same thing. But you become this person that you don't identify with. And I'm so fearful that the same thing will happen to her, that I became this person who would not allow her to leave home.
Very protective.
Very
Yes,
protective,
very
overprotective. But I have 3 daughters and a son. The first 2 daughters, they were kind of challenging where they didn't go along with what I said all the time. But the younger one, I learned from the first 2. And I made up my mind that I didn't want this to happen to her. So I talked to this one, but I didn't know how to talk to the older 2 daughters. So as we're going along doing the separation, they're seeing me hurt. They're seeing me abused. But they didn't know about the sexual assault. And that had a lot of effect on my adulthood. So I sat all of them down one day and I talked to them. and they were in awe. They couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe it.
I didn't expose everyone that this had happened to, but the more I opened my voice, other people started to tell me what happened to them.
Oh, wow.
So at this point, it's now church. I have a couple of friends that came to me and said the assault happened to them. And my question was, why are so many of us silent? Why are we afraid to open our mouths and share what happened? So when I shared what happened, the Holy Spirit had given me this idea about a conference. Fear again, not wanting to expose
Exactly.
the family members, not wanting to expose the people who also had been assaulted. I think November of 2015, I met with a young lady once I found out that she had put it out that it happened to her. And I said, I want to do a conference. And she was like, what kind of conference are we going to do? We're going to do a conference on sexual assault. We did that last year, and it sold out.
Oh,
Wow.
And
It's a lot going
that
on.
point,
Yes.
I discovered
It's
my
needed.
voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's needed.
But
The confirmation.
yes, along that journey, it took, I think it was 2013, I attended another conference, an event. I was going through the separation, and I just wanted my own life. So I attended this conference. I've never been exposed to positive women. And at this conference, I had a sisterhood, and they did a segment, Reveal the Mask.
That's right.
And I'm sitting there, I'm shaking, I'm trembling. I'm like, I don't want anybody to know what happened to me. I don't know these
Right,
women.
right.
But when it got to me, I just broke down in tears. Oh, wow. Literally. But once I spoke out what was going on, transformation.
Yeah,
That's
started
right.
taking
And you
place.
start, but see what happens with that, you start healing.
Healing.
Yeah.
Right.
The healing begins when you start speaking out and talking
Right.
about it. You may be ashamed, but I always say you're not alone.
Yeah.
You
But
think
you don't
you
know
are,
this.
you don't
But you don't know
until
this,
you
exactly.
start getting in around other women
Right.
who can say that they've been around it, the
Absolutely.
same thing, whether it's sexual abuse, because it all comes together. Your sexual abuse, your domestic abuse, it all kind of comes together. But guess what? It is still something that we should not have to go through. I think we was talking about earlier. Reverend Johnson was saying, we are women. We weren't put here to be abused. We weren't queens. We were born to. We're life givers. Okay, and so our children need us. And a lot of mothers don't want to share because they're still trying to be that mother who
And
protects.
protective, exactly.
We have that in us, that protection, that instinct to still protect, let them not know what's going on, but we're hurting.
And see, that was the thing for me. They were seeing this person that was all painted up.
Yeah.
That's going to church.
Right.
That's
hurting.
right.
Everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're the perfect family. Oh, this and that. And I'm like, behind
They're no
closed
perfect
doors.
family.
They have no clue.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like,
There aren't any
I
perfect
realized that I was
families.
not only dealing with an emotionally abusive marriage, but I was also dealing with the trauma of sexual assault.
Right,
Correct.
at the same time.
At the same
And
time.
that right there can become mental
Yes.
to
Where
you
it came.
emotionally, and you're withdrawn, you're aloof, you become not wanting to be a part of people. Go out, who can I trust?
I didn't want
Right, very
anybody.
protective.
Who can I trust?
I didn't want anybody around my kids.
No, you don't want anybody around your kids because then you don't know who's going to abuse or do it.
That's
to
exactly
young
right.
girls.
A repeat.
And that's
you
a
know?
repeat cycle.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to what you said about the red flags.
Yes.
Nina, we know about some red flags. Give us a few of them,
We
babe.
do. One of the red flags that there are many, like you said, but one of the red flags is that in your honeymoon stage of a relationship and you're courting and going out, and then the next thing you know, oh, so what did you do today? Those are general conversations
Yes.
that you have, and then you said, oh, well, I had I had some errands to run away. Okay, what kind of errands? Okay, and then you go into that, and that's maybe the starting of it.
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, then you have someone that wants to know your whereabouts. Where are you? Why didn't you call me? I reached out to text you and you didn't answer. It's a few hours later. Those are the signs of being aggressive.
Who were you
And
with?
Who were you with? And then starting to pick your friends. Oh, I don't really like her. I think you shouldn't be around her. Those are some of the red flags. Having a disagreement. Somebody reaches out to grab you. And this is with male or female because women are doing it too.
Right.
Yes.
Somebody reaches out to grab you. There should never be any type of grabbing, touching, or anything. Those are the first signs of that, hey, it could be something very physical. being in a relationship and all of a sudden you're being forced to have sex. When you say no, no is no. But if you're being forced into that, then hey, you know, you can say that, okay, I've been raped.
Correct.
Those are the signs. And some of them, like I said, they are very, very vague. You have to pay attention to the individual that you're with and see, you can't ignore anything. Anytime that there's something that piques you and you're like, wait a minute, you need to take heed to that because that's something that you might really want to invest in.
And anytime a man threatens you to even leave your own home,
Yes.
Yeah.
that happens. That's why some women are stuck.
Well-
Because they've been told, if you leave, I'll find you.
Yeah, and
so
people get,
mentally.
and they
Yes,
get really, really
very
scared.
much into you. And you get fearful. You
you
don't
get
know where to
fearful.
go. They start finding all your family and friends and asking people.
Right. Where are you? Because I've experienced that because I'm a 2-time survivor of domestic abuse. And I remember getting trapped in my own home. And I lived in an apartment on the first floor, thank God. And I remember running in my bedroom and escaping out of the window. And I had my car keys, and I got in my car keys, and I grabbed my car keys, got in my car, and I went.
Found a way
I
to
found a
escape.
way out of there, and I called the police. But it's scary, and it's hard to actually share with another person that you've gone through it because they start to pass judgment.
Right, exactly.
And
How did I feel when I got out? I think I was in that what do you say, flight or flight or whatever. I was in that zone and I was just numb. And then once I got past it, because that was my second abuse situation, like you were saying, Nina, he went a whole year before he displayed the domestic violence.
Gotcha, yeah.
thing.
So you
He
didn't
went a
see it
whole
at
year.
first.
I didn't see it, but it was subtle. You know, as I reflect back on it,
And
it
you
was
know
subtle.
what?
It was subtle.
And this is the thing, like again, I'll say with men or women, it's an insecurity.
Yes.
Okay? And no one that you are in relationship with, there shouldn't be any type of insecurity. You should both have a level of communication where you're building a trust with each other.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if someone has an underhanded insecurity from whatever their past is or whatever tragically has happened in their life, that right there is a mental issue that needs to be dealt with. And I think that when it comes along with the stuff that we're dealing with today, that is the root of what it is that we're dealing with, which is why I am putting together we're doing the 2019 Men's Domestic Violence Conference because we want men to come out of silence who are being abused and those that are abusers to get the help that they need.
Exactly.
And men don't like to deal with the deep-rooted issues. They think that, okay, it's all right, we'll push them away. But I believe that right now, pressure is being placed on people with society and the way that the economy is running, and it's causing people to break.
Yeah.
And so with that type of event going on, we definitely need to have as many
Dialogue.
people and as to engage in this to get our men the help that they need.
And I applaud you for doing that or
did
talking
too.
about it and bringing it in. It's 2019 and we're in
Yeah.
2018. You can't talk about it soon enough, and we continue to, bring this up in front of, to the people and to our community. But I want you to talk about that some more. Let's take a break.
Sure.
And then we're going to come right back and
Awesome.
continue that 2019 of the Men's Domestic Conference. We'll be right back.
Always sisters, always friends. Let's stay real close till the end. Forgiving each other, letting love cover. Always sisters, always friends. We have to live in harmony, even though we may disagree. 'Cause fighting each other
So you are watching Four Sisters Live. Conversations continues. And this is our domestic violence segment. With every first Saturday, we talk about domestic violence. And so we have some things that we've got to do. I mean, we just got to do them, Peg.
Yeah, I know.
We got to stay connected with this conversation because opening
It's
and
healing.
dialogue, exactly.
It's healing.
This is the part that brings this together for us and be able to share.
And let me share with y'all guys, you know, when I went through this with my mom and dad, today I cannot explain to you, every time that happened, the Lord always put me in the middle between the two to separate them. And when I separated, my father would back away, okay? So when I talk about it, because we had a conversation before, and I didn't see myself as being a victim. You know, although I wasn't the victim because my mother was, but I was part of it as well. And it didn't realize and didn't hit me until almost a year ago that I am a victim.
Right.
Yes.
Okay? And so when I talk about it, it makes me feel better. It's healing.
Yes,
Very
it
healing.
is.
So that if you're going through it and you're going through it and you're going and
Yep.
we're sitting here having a conversation which is healthy.
Yes.
It's
Well, I
really
think all things done in the divine order. You know, this is divine because, and I have to say divine, I'm making an announcement at this time when I'm talking about God's divine way and his order. He put something in all of us to
Yes,
do.
he did.
That's right.
Whether we want to accept it or not, whether we are ready for it or not,
Yeah.
you know, he gives us that wherewithal to have the strength to do it. Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it takes strength.
Yes, it
And
does.
it takes courage, you know, to do this. So I just want to announce that because we're talking about domestic violence and segueing into that, God had given me an opportunity to do a stage production
Yeah.
called Then Sings My Soul.
Yes.
And it's a musical with a message on domestic violence.
Yeah.
When I was given this vision about 3.5 years, going on 4 years ago, the voice of domestic violence from him just came just like that in my head. I'm like, God, are you serious? I know I had been abused, but I didn't look at me.
Right.
At the time, I took the focus away from me because I
Right.
didn't even recognize that I had been abused even as a child. But when he said this in terms of that, I'm looking at the music part.
Right.
I'm looking at the production of it. And I'm
Right.
talking about, okay, we're going to help other people. Really, I'm helping myself.
That's
Right,
right.
exactly.
It's part of the healing
That's the
process.
part of the healing that I needed, that
That's
I
right.
never did get.
That you
That's
didn't
right.
And he
The
knew,
approval of others to share your
There you
voice.
go.
and he knew when he gave this vision
Yes.
that I was going to be here
That's right.
or there.
Exactly.
Because every time I go out and talk about to women, I didn't have to bring it up. They brought it up.
Oh, wow.
And it would always say a confirmation. He said, see why I gave it to you? In many, many instances, I don't care where I went, he was giving me signs that it's
Right.
okay to do it.
Confirmation.
That's right.
It's okay to do it.
Right.
Women need this. Women, when I ask this to just ask, they say, oh, oh, yes, that'd be nice. Then you put the music to it, which that was my background. So he said, this is what's going to happen because now you'll be able to relate on both ends. So I just want to announce that God has given me an opportunity to travel this play. I've done it here 3 times.
Yeah,
Peggy
beautiful.
and Sister for
Phenomenal.
Sisters, they
Phenomenal.
supported me before. My girl Jay Brittany, who sang earlier, she was a part of it. But I'm just saying God strategically placed everything without any funding. God, you don't have any money on it. He said, just do it.
Just do it.
That will
That's
come
what he
because
did.
you
Yeah,
can't
that
be
will come.
money driven.
That's
right.
right.
Which that wasn't.
That's right.
But I had to know it takes funds to make it happen.
That's true.
But the thing of it is, people came my way, and people are still here to help support me in that magnitude, and I appreciate that. But again, Then Sings My Soul is going on the road. We're going to Brooklyn, New York.
Woo! Road trip.
Yes, Brooklyn House.
Right.
May
Road trip.
5th, May 5th and 6th in Brooklyn, New York at the Black Lady Theater.
Excellent.
So for more information, visit my Facebook page, Wyoming Paris, and we definitely, to be very transparent, that it takes funds, so we are looking for some help to help us to get on the road. Peggy has been so instrumental as well, and we are connected with Sister for Sisters Network, so this part of proceeds and whatever we do, we're going to make sure we're giving back to our domestic
That's
violence
right.
Exactly.
committee here with Sisters for Sisters. So we'll be talking more about that.
Network.
Sisters for Sisters Network. Yes, Sisters for Sisters Network. And again, Then Sings My Soul is going to Brooklyn, New York, May 5th and 6th.
I have a question
Sure.
to ask you ladies. We all have to deal with these issues, whether they're our friends or ourselves personally. How do you've channeled yours into a play. How do you challenge your anxieties and to take so that you can go day by day by day, because you have to function, and most of the time no one knows. You have to deal with your family, your husbands, your children, and other people. What methods do you use?
Well, for me,
Because a lot of people need to know how to funnel that bad energy, to turn it into positive energy.
So what I do, and that's part of my company as a life coach, motivational speaker, is that I talk about building that self-confidence. And you talked about this a few moments ago, because part of my mission is I tell people it's all about reaching within to find that inner strength and to be able to overcome whatever challenges to make it down that path of self-love at the end of the day. So self-affirmations, when I wake up in the morning, I have a love plaque on my dresser, and I'm reminded of this. And if any of you all looked at Being Mary Jane and how she puts all these little stickers all over everywhere. And so, I do some of that sometimes. And, I say, hey, I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am here to make
turn it around.
I am going to make a difference today. I am going to impact someone today.
There you go.
I am going to walk up to that sister today and tell her something that's beautiful about her. I am going to greet someone with a smile in the grocery store.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
So,
and what about the rest of you ladies?
for me-
I know everybody has their own methods, but by giving these methods, we're telling somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, I will say that the beginning of the journey is a process.
Correct.
Okay? So it took me some time to get where I am today. And where I am today is that I know that God has purposed me to be an example and to be there for someone else. So when I get up, when I know, I say, God, I just want you to lead me and to open up any door that I am supposed to, an opportunity to speak to someone. And if that means for me to greet with a smile, some encouragement, that's what I do. And I don't care who it is. I will walk down the street past someone and they will have a scowl look on their face, and I will greet them with a smile.
And it makes you feel better.
Yes, because I was
makes me
able
feel
to
better.
spread some sunshine on them. And it actually, it works. And I don't care what type of day, if I'm just having a blah day or not having a good day, I don't care what it is. When you put that smile on your face and you're impacting somebody else, it makes you feel good in the inside.
Universal language.
Yes, it is.
Now, for me, I remember God speaking to me about 3 years ago. God speaking to me about 3 years ago. Whose image are you wearing?
That's right.
Okay.
And during that process, I know the scripture in Genesis 1:27 says we're created in his image. But when he asked, whose image are you wearing? I didn't understand it then because I was still discovering me. But in the process of going through the process of hanging out with other women that were aspiring to do great things, I began to go back into the scripture and realize, whose image are you wearing? I'm the righteousness of God.
I am.
That's
I'm
right.
created in his image. I'm more than a conqueror.
That's right. I am.
And this is what I tell other women. You're not your circumstance.
Right.
That's
This
right.
may have happened to you.
Right.
It happened to me at 5.
Right.
But I was not in control then.
Right.
But I'm in control of my destiny.
It's
Now
not your
you know.
fault.
It's not my fault.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not your
That's
fault.
most important. Yeah. Thanks, ladies.
Well, when I get up in the morning, I have to continue to just encourage yourself. So you have to encourage yourself to say positive things. Read something positive.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
it's scripture, whatever's a book that's positive, read something that's going to get your day going.
new.
Learn something. And so that we have choices. You have a choice to do, or you have a choice that you don't have to.
That's right.
But
That's
what
right.
do you choose to do? And I choose to go on the right side because I have been on the, and not that we don't have our bad days.
Yeah, that's right. We do.
But
We all
I
have bad days.
But I choose to be happy. I choose to no longer deal with folk that I got to go through. I've cut that down.
Yeah. Remove the negative.
I've done that. I'm done with that.
People.
Done with that. I'm done with it. I'm zero tolerance. Zero tolerance for it anymore. I
Just
don't care
don't
who.
mess with my aura.
No, that's right.
Spirit.
We
That's
have
right.
to get
Stay on the
fed
right
up.
side or the left side, but don't get in the middle.
We have to get fed up.
Right.
We have to be tired and sick or tired of being tired of
That's
all
right.
of that.
And
When we get to that, we free.
Preach
When
the
we get to that part,
You
we're
got to
free.
keep yourself around positive women
Yes.
like you.
Yes.
If you want to be a positive woman, stay around positive
around.
women.
That's right.
Yeah, you see yourself.
hanging around.
Yes,
You
yes.
attract what you
Right.
put out
That's
there.
right.
Yes.
And I
That's
failed
right.
to say that every
Right.
day I remember my verse, Isaiah 54:17.
Yes.
No
The
weapon
weapon formed
formed
against
against thee
shall
shall
prosper.
prosper.
It may form.
It may form,
Right.
but
But
it
it
will
cannot
not
prosper.
It cannot.
It won't
In this
prosper.
space,
It will not prosper.
it will not prosper.
Well, like I said
tell you.
earlier, it's a demonic situation, so we got to tell the devil he's a liar. You got to kick
That's
him under
right.
his feet. You got to stomp on him. You got to get him out.
That's right.
You got to pray for
You
yourself.
got to get him out.
Anoint yourself. If you got oil, anoint
But
yourself.
it-
My
but- and
pastor
it's-
tells us all the time,
Yeah.
anoint yourself.
Yeah,
yourself.
but you know
That's
what? It's going to
right.
go to you having a symposium, and I think this starts when we're having dialogue with women in the room, or have symposiums, or have seminars or workshops to start bringing this about, because that is a ministry. Some we go to church, that's all well and
We need
good.
to hear the word.
We hear the
However,
word when we go home.
but you're having a symposium.
Take something from it, though.
Coming
Yeah,
up.
tell us
About that.
Take your mic.
Take your mic.
Forgetting
I
about
know.
that.
She's not here. We understand, baby.
So it's called the Whole Woman Blueprint. And what this is, we're dealing with the mind, the
That's
body,
right.
the soul,
Soul.
and the spirit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what we're dealing with, it begins in the soul first.
That's right.
We're spiritual beings, but what we deal with in the soul and our mind affects what's going on with our bodies.
That's right.
And the lineup, I'm telling you, is phenomenal.
What's the date
What's
on
the
it?
date?
It's
What's the date?
September the 8th,
Okay.
Largo, Maryland.
Okay.
And you can get information at the WWB 2018 eventbrite.com. Or .eventbrite.com.
Make sure we get a flyer
Yeah.
so we can continue
I
to talk about that.
Yeah, give me the flyer and I can post
we're
it
going
for
to do
you.
that.
Okay.
Where is it going to be held?
It's going to be held at the Courtyard Marriott in Largo, Maryland, from 10 to 5 p.m.
Is there a fee?
Tickets are on sale right now for $55 until May 31st. June 1, they go to $75. So get your tickets now.
Right,
What's
right.
the time on that?
10 to 5.
10 to 5. So that's a good
A couple of the
schedule. Yeah,
speakers
that's
that
good.
will be there, Vicki Johnson,
That's
Wow.
good.
Soul
Yeah.
Wealth. I have Candace Camille,
Yeah, she's a member. She's a
Natasha Mayo, who is one of the people responsible
Natasha
for this
Mayo,
foundation
yeah.
that started. Oh my God, so many phenomenal women. There are about 10 women that will be a part of this
So you're
event.
doing different workshops, breakout sessions?
They're
and
different
things like-
breakouts, workshops, and they're all speaking on a specific subject around the mind, spirit, soul, and body.
That's awesome.
So
Right.
give me the date again.
It's September the 8th of this year from 10 to 5 p.m., the Courtyard Marriott in Largo, Maryland.
Okay, so what we're going to do
Wow.
is have you come back
Yes.
and bring some of the ladies, okay, so that
Yes,
y'all guys can
that
have a
would be
conversation,
wonderful.
help promote it.
Promote it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to, before we, because we don't
Wow.
have enough time, Peggy. You know how we get. We don't have enough time. But I do want you to get that 2019 men's conference in.
Okay, yes. So, Sources of Power, Sister for Sisters Network, we're having a 2019 Men's Domestic Violence Conference, and it will be on October the 5th. Okay, we're still in the planning stages, narrowing down the venue. The more information that we'll get, the more that I will be able to promote and let you know. We do have a planning committee. Our planning committee meets once a month. Anybody that's interested in joining the planning committee, please contact me at 703-217-5992.
Say it again. Give it to us.
703-217-5992.
And I applaud that because it's time.
Yeah, it's time.
It's just time for men to have dialogue. It's time for men to come together. Not that they're not doing it, because I know they have men conferences and they have men meetings and they have men, different things that they're doing, even from their church and even in the community. The 100 Black Men. I mean,
Yeah.
they have things, but are they dealing with these issues? I don't know what they're talking about, but is it about what you're going to be dealing with? Seriously, about the domestic issues?
Right.
Because it does begin in the mind, it becomes in your spirit.
That's
it's
right.
all of that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you even haven't. I think it's
Well,
my
I
first
give God
time
all the
hearing it.
glory.
That's right.
I think it's the first time someone is doing it.
It is. It
A
is because
domestic
everything
violence
seems to
conference for
be
men.
centered around the women.
women.
And
Yeah.
then, you know, with me having that background and in it, I've got boys. And I had to realize, my healing had to first come from what I had with my father. And once my healing came from there and I began to see the pattern and the cycle that I was going into, then I realized it's not that men don't want to do right or don't want to, if it's even a do right, it's just that they don't, a lot of times they don't know how.
They don't know how.
And so their emotions get wrapped up. Men don't know how to deal with their emotions. And so I said that, you know, God says in his word that the men are the head. And right now the reason why things are going the way that they're going is because our heads are not right. And we need to work towards getting it right. Wyoming, before we go, I have something that I want to read to the audience.
Sure. Yeah, hold on one second.
Okay.
Jennifer, do you have something going on? Do you have a
Yes,
conference?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was recently selected for the Warrior Queens Conference that's going to be held at Courtyard Marriott. I'm going to be a speaker as well. And my platform is going to be about telling my story from the age of 5 until my present state. Because sometimes people see who you are today and think they don't know nothing about that process.
Right.
So I'm going to talk about that, and my focus is about self-confidence and self-love and teaching women about that piece of it. And that's going to be on June 23rd, and I'm honored because that's my birthday. And so I will, and I feel honored to be able to give back to other women on that day. That's that gift to me.
So is it free?
No, it's not.
Okay.
So I know. So the fee I don't have it in front of me now because it's someone else's conference.
Okay.
They're hosting it. There was a special going on to the 31st of March. I believe the tickets are $60 now, up into a certain cutoff period. But I'm really, really excited about this conference, and I can't wait until it happens because, again, like I said, it's not about us anymore.
Right.
It's about helping other people.
We're going to be in the house.
Yeah,
Y'all gonna be in the house supporting me?
That's
Yes.
right.
You gotta
Am I my sister's keeper?
Yes. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Couple of
what we
people
do.
to support on June 23rd. Speaking of June 23rd, I got another announcement. God is just good. I have an opportunity to take my play to York, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
But York, Pennsylvania is doing auditions. They're going to
Right.
audition people there to do my play, to
Oh,
showcase
that is
it.
awesome.
So if anyone is an actor and you want to be a part of this and you're living around the York, Pennsylvania area, the auditions are April 28th, this month, April 28th in York, Pennsylvania. And if you need more information, you can get in touch with me. You can call 202-361-8556, 202-361-8556, or go to spark.abode.com, spark.abode.com, and you can register.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, and you can reach out to me at Robin R. M. Powers, that's EMPOWERS, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Awesome.
Okay, and I forgot to share mine.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
www.reachingwithinempowermentjourney.com.
All right.
And then on Facebook, Reaching Within Empowerment Journey. So, Robin, I do want to say one last thing, if I can say
Sure.
this, is that I know that you said your conference is dealing with the whole body, right? Here's a piece that I'm learning through my studies and what I see along this journey is that every person has a story, right? And you got the men's conference and you're talking about them not dealing with their emotions. We need to get to the root of their story. Then you'll find out what their attachment style is, right?
Yes.
So that
Yes.
right,
Yes.
because it's about what they see when they grew up.
That's right.
Doesn't mean that
Wow.
they dealt with abandonment.
That's
Have
it.
they dealt with
Low self-esteem.
low self-esteem?
Yeah.
So you got to deal with that psychology piece
Yeah,
of it
exactly.
and get
That's
that
right.
history.
And that's where it's coming from. It's the
That's-
mental health.
It's the mental health, and
Yeah.
then the other piece, as a survivor, I had to figure out why was I being receptive to that. So you got to sit with yourself sometimes
Yeah.
and take a pause during that
Yes.
process
Yes.
to figure out why we do what we
Well,
do.
I want to thank you, and I know you got something you want to say. You can say it quickly because we're going to close out.
And
close out with
what
you
she
right
was saying, this is why I have women, not just myself, that are coming together. And some of these women that will be on this platform have actually helped me to get to where I am.
That's right.
So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, that is good
And
stuff.
we support you guys. I mean, this is what we do. We support each other.
We need a big calendar in here.
I know.
I know.
So I just want, that's okay. I just wanted to
with
close
that.
out with this. For all of those that are going through domestic violence and have experienced sexual assault, I want you to know, to encourage that we are all here are survivors at some point. And I just want you to know that you are God's favor. And I just want to read this favor. If a person has the favor of God on his life, anything can happen. Amazing things will happen to those around him also. Some people seem to be kissed by God. Things just always seem to go well for them. Whatever they attempt, they succeed at doing. Even their poor choices or wrong decisions seem to work out for the best of them in the end. Their small victories seem to birth greater blessings. Their triumphs of other people, they aren't smarter than others. They don't necessarily work harder either, but the work they accomplish is miraculously multiplied, whether others realize it or not. Would you recognize the favor of God on someone else's life if you met them? It is clear from these verses that Moses thought of the favor of God as a divine power that caused any human effort to be done exceptionally well and to be of a lasting value to the worker. If a workman is worthy of his wages, the favor of God. Okay, so I just want you to know that you are favored by God. And what I read was primarily just telling you God's favor that's on you. You can think it's someone else or, look at it for yourself, but to know that God's favor is on you and whatever it is you're going through, you are victorious.
That's right. Thank you for that. And we thank you all for watching today. And we love and appreciate you. You continue to have a great, blessed day. See you next week.
Always friends.